Okay, so all hell broke loose on Friday as I'm just about to walk out of my trading office. I'm just about to take my daughter to a football training session, and Trump comes out with comments regarding China, the hostilities, what they're threatening, and so on. And the stock markets have a big sell-off. I'm doing this on Friday at 5 p.m. London time. In fact 4:59 I'm doing this video, guys. So we sell off really hard and I start shorting the market, and I'm thinking to myself, though, I don't want to be leaving the trading room or trading office here with huge position sizing and it has a massive rally back up. But I start shorting this thing on the DAX, only smaller position sizes. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 quid short. We had 500, 600, 600, 300 pounds profit here. And in pretty much minutes, I think one of them was seconds. So let's have a little look what we were looking at prior to the Trump announcement. Now, we were looking at this is the German DAX here on a 4-hour time frame. Very nice move to the upside. We'll look at the NASDAQ and the VIX in 1 second, guys. Nice move to the upside here. We break new highs. DAX makes a new high up here, green on the pro trend system. Now, what we were talking about in the trade room this morning is this diagonal storyteller two-wave. All right, two-way divergence. It was a bearish two-wave. When it's angled like this, and I'm sure I've done other videos on this type of setup. When it's angled so far like this down, 45 degrees and more, then the sell-off, the correction, the pullback, the move in the opposite direction, the bearish move is greater. Now, I started shorting it. I can't remember the prices, guys, but in and around this area, this is where we were, in and around this area here. All right, so we get the divergence. We're talking about, yeah, well, is it going to come down? We get a little bit of a move today. That'll be fine. But then we get the announcement that came after the chart setting up. So the chart was set up and then the news comes after that. All right, I see it so often. Big money is the footprints on a chart, and they create the patterns. And for me, this move up was tiring. That two-wave divergence was in play before the news was released, and then you've got to just get in the trade. Now, I wasn't expecting anything big, guys. 24,600 all the way down to the low here at 24,188, and I don't know where it's going to close, but I'm going to go off in a second. But yep, the pattern was there before the news came out. Intriguing, isn't it? Incredible. I just love the technical side of trading. The charts is where all the footprints are of big traders, where the money is flowing, and the pattern set up, and then we get the move down. Let's have a little look at the NASDAQ, and that was a pretty big one as well. Now, the thing about the NASDAQ we were talking about last week on our traders retreat, we'd had this ending type diagonal chart pattern, okay? Ending diagonals end moves. We had a trend line running up the lows here, and then we've got this trend line going across the highs. I could draw it a little bit tighter, guys. I could probably come inside, maybe even come inside with this area here maybe, and so on. Even that there, I could have brought it in there if I wanted to. Maybe there. I mean, what you're looking at with an ending diagonal, you tend to get a thrust through the high of the top trend line, and then if it comes back inside the actual triangle, that is your sell signal. All right, you get one final thrust above the ending diagonal, then it comes back inside, and then it's the true move is the opposite direction. So we could see that we had this type of ending, very scruffy ending diagonal pattern here that I just drawn for you guys. But there you go. And if we can get some reds on the board, I mean, this could be starting to actually turn red on the system here on the daily chart. I don't know where it's going to close yet. I'm doing this, as I said, now it is 5:03. And it's turning red. If it closes red, then we've got these targets projected already down here. All right, so the system's working in real time here at the moment. We need to close, though. This needs to close red, and then we could get a decent size move to the downside, all right, which has been long overdue. Let's have a little look at the volatility index, the VIX, VIX. And you can see here we've had, in fact, if I go to the daily time frame and really scrunch it up for you, and I did a video in the park, you might have seen this, talking about the VIX, how I was starting to buy the VIX. I think it was around 17 that I was buying it when I'd done that video. And when the VIX gets down to these lows, the volatility index measuring, volatility in the market, when it starts to creep lower, stock markets tend to go higher and the volatility is relatively low. As stocks go higher, indices I'm talking about are going up here. The VIX is starting to go lower, or is lower and at a base level. When it gets this base level, then I'm going to buy the VIX, all right? Because I know at some point it's going to spike higher. Now, I don't want to chase the VIX up here. I don't want to buy the VIX up here because it's going to have this contraction. It's going to move back to the mean. It's the end of the move. Stock market's great buy signal. Stock market's probably going to push higher then. But when the VIX is low like this, for me, I buy it in a non-leveraged account, okay? So I can sit on it because getting your timing right is crucial here for the VIX. Buy a signal and start to buy some and hold it and see if we get a move up. So now it's starting to push into profit. We're up to 20 here, which is a nice move. We've got some profit targets. And when it's down here, guys, it's got plenty of room to grow and push higher and really explode. So whether it does that again like it did here, I don't know. I have no idea, but we'll see. And the storyteller is now pointing up, which is the first time since back in June. All right, it's been down. Well, in fact, no, sorry, there's a small one here in September. But we're getting a significant green high histogram pointing up here. This could grow and this could explode. All right, so there's a bit of a mishmash into what happened last thing on Friday. I'm just going to stop this video now. And just be careful, guys. Remember, when you get big moves in a stock market or a currency pair, not individual stocks I'm talking about, but something like the DAX, the NASDAQ, the Dow, S&P, or FX pairs in particular, if you get a big move on a Friday afternoon and evening times, and we're getting into the close and the stock markets are particularly dropping dramatically, which has been a rarity for quite a while, then it will often gap down on Sunday evening. That's for us UK traders. If we're, Sunday evening, Sunday night is when the markets open for us, 10 and 11 o'clock London time. So if we get a big sell-off on Friday, there is every opportunity that it gaps down on Sunday night. And I always, if I'm not in a trade already short on a Friday, I will put a trade on, and our closing time for US stock markets in London is 9 p.m, 9:15, 9:30. Literally, I will around 8:30 be putting on some short trades because, as I said, you tend to get that gap down on Sunday night and then bank half the profits and let the rest run into Monday. Okay, so and if it's FX pairs, you're looking at 10 p.m. London time closing time, guys. All right. Hope it helps and have a lovely weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Next week's going to be an incredibly interesting week. The German DAX has got what we call a trend predictor, but I'll talk about that in another video. And that's indicating that next week could be a down week. So we could already see this starting now. Let's see how we close tonight. The close is the most important, guys. Not so much the ranges, but the close of the candlestick and where we close. All right, so let's see where the stock market closes this Friday. It's going to be an interesting trading week next week. Speak to you soon. Take care.